আপনারা দেখছেন SR24x7 নিউজ।
এরকম একটা সম্পর্ক তৈরি হয়ে আছে। এই একটা উদ্যোগকে আমরা ক্লাবের তরফ থেকে ভীষণভাবে সাধুবাদ জানাই এবং আমি প্রণবদাকে বলেছি যে যত সাংবাদিক বন্ধু আছেন আমাদের প্রেস কভার করে, সেটা 60 ঊর্ধ্বে হোক 60-এর নিম্নে হোক, এবং তার পরিবাররা এই প্রিভিলেজটা পাবে। এবং প্রণবদার তরফ থেকে আমি এখানে প্রণবদা বা অর্ণবের তরফ থেকে আমি এখানে প্রমিস করছি এবং অ্যানাউন্স করছি যেটা পাবে। এবং আমি প্রেস টেন্টে কোনো একটা অনুষ্ঠান করতে চাই, সেখান থেকে আমরা প্রিভিলেজ কার্ডটা প্রেস পিপুলদের হাতে তুলে দিতে চাই। যদি আপনারা একটা অর্গানাইজ করে ডেট বলেন, তাহলে আমরা সেদিনকে ওখানে সেই আয়োজন করব। এখানে সুরেন রাহা আছেন, সাংবাদিক বন্ধুদের আমি সুরেন রাহাকে বলবো যদি কোনো একটা ডেট ফিক্স করা যায়, যে আমরা ওখানে বসে এবং সাংবাদিকদের বন্ধুদের হাতে তুলে দিতে চাই। ঠিক আছে,
this afternoon. For me, it's not just a privilege but a real honor to support Dr. Pranav Dasgupta, who has been one of my heroes growing up, to support his family, Mrs. Dasgupta, to support Arnav. Dr. Pranav Dasgupta is not just a pillar of society in Kolkata, but he's always been a man to do good for people. Since ever I could remember, when I was a young boy, my Baba and Doc worked together. They started a health checkup clinic together, and both of them, through Vital Medical Center, did annual checkups for corporates all through the city. It is such a privilege to be here to launch Ben Nevis, the family clinic, and also a diagnostic center. As Dr. Siddiq said, I was born with a mitral valve prolapse, and hence my checkup, whether it was the pathology checkup, or whether it was the echocardiograph checkup, or whether it was the treadmill test, these three things I've had to do twice a year, every 6 months. I'm very pleased that Dr. Siddiq actually talked about preventive medicine, because mostly we find in our country, we only go to doctors once we have an ailment. We only go to the hospitals, we only go to the clinics, we only want to get a medical checkup done when we are actually got the problem already. But as a professional athlete, and also being the son of a professional athlete, an Olympic champion and a doctor of medicine, I was only privileged that in my house, my mother, Juliana, and my dad always looked at preventive medicine. Baba would create a lifestyle for me where twice a year I got my medical checkups done, whether it was the ENT test, whether it was the echocardiograph, whether it was the stress test, whether it was the blood work through the pathology lab. We always make sure that good health is primary. For me, I'm very interested to have further conversations with Dr. Siddiq, with Arnav, and with Dr. Dasgupta, that through Ben Nevis Center, how we can create a healthier community. We also talked about obesity. We also talked about diabetes. We also talked about mental health issues. For me here, to see Ben Nevis having so many different things. We have an advanced pathology lab. We have a 4D ultrasound.
Okay, thank you. Give it to me. Oh, একটু হাতটা নাও। এই একটু এদিকে।
তোমার চেয়ার লাগবে? না। ওনার তো একটা দিকটা দেখবেন আপনারা। আমরা এদিকে আছি।
Doing this for a pretty long time, and today I'm really happy that they have come out with this privilege card for the sports fraternity. Actually, what I mean to say that whatever sports you do, you have to be always fit. So what we are dealing with, but I am working on it, mainly the early detection of the any ailments, mainly the cardiovascular disease. As Arnab said, I am also attached as a visiting professor in the National Institute of Cardiology and Cardiovascular Surgery in the University of Havana, Cuba. Over there, the full treatment modality is totally different. They focus on the primary prevention, primordial prevention, and also the rehabilitation. Unfortunately, we are not that expertise over here in both in primary prevention and rehabilitation. So in this Ben Nevis clinic, what we are planned, me and Dr. Diagnostic, we plan to open a metabolic syndrome clinic and also obesity clinic and also a health wellness clinic where we will detect the early, the earlier detection, the better treatment, the better longevity, and the better the.
It is such a wonderful thing that Dr. Pranav Dasgupta, who is one of the legends of our city of Kolkata, has done to start out the Ben Nevis Diagnostic Center and Family Clinic. Because as a professional athlete, I know that preventive medicine is more important than curing an ailment. I find that most people in society nowadays only go to the doctor when they get sick. They only go to the doctor when they have an ailment like a stomach ache or a headache or they have fever or if they have an injury they go. But I think it's really important to do preventive medicine where you get your medical checkups done twice every year. My Baba, who is not only an Olympic champion but also a doctor of sports medicine, from a very young age he's always made me do my medical checkups twice a year. Once in January and then in July. And in that, the medical checkups that we do are a very comprehensive medical checkup. Dr. Pranav Dasgupta and Baba had started a clinic called the Vital Medical Center, which specialized in not just corporate medicine, but also in family medicine. And in that, I was beneficial of the fact that the knowledge of sports science, the knowledge of sports medicine in the family that I was brought up in, not just with genetics, but also with the quality of life, is the reason that I became a champion. I feel that great legends like Dr. Pranav Dasgupta and Dr. Paes are doing such wonderful work for the community of Kolkata that I feel that with Arnab Dasgupta and myself, the next generation, we youngsters are born into legacy. And I would wonderfully like to extend my hand in friendship to Arnab to see as to how we can take the Ben Nevis family clinic and medical clinics and see as to how we can expand that all throughout West Bengal and then hopefully through the country. I think that for every young child, doing a check, doing your blood work, doing an echocardiograph, measuring the density of your bones, looking at the positives and not so positives of each individual's health. Hence you can get your medical checkup done and then design a lifestyle that can give you a great quality of life. I also feel that with modern medicine again, the longevity of life is increased. Where today, Gen Z are going to be living till they're 95, 100 years old. But for me, it's the quality of life that is more important than the quantity of life. And I think that's where we as a community must focus on with the expertise of these legends who have come forward to do such wonderful things for our community through the Ben Nevis family and medical clinic. The criteria is that if you are part of sport, you just have to come with your ID, show what part of the sports fraternity you are in, and through that you will get a special card, a special medical card of the Ben Nevis Medical Clinic to get a 50% discount for your medical checkups. I think for me, Dr. Pranav Dasgupta, who's been a legend of our community in Calcutta and in West Bengal, he's always done great things for the community, and for him to come forward now with another scheme where anybody who is a senior citizen over 60 years of age, male or female, who is either an athlete or a businessman or woman or part of sport fraternity will benefit from this scheme. So I really am very proud of Dr. Pranav Dasgupta, and I'm very grateful to him for doing some wonderful work in our community. Also, I think that as much as I have not had a chance to discuss with him much in detail where this inspiration came, I can also say that just coming out of a COVID-19 pandemic, and I think that just magnifies how wonderful the Ben Nevis project is to make a difference in the community, because we're still suffering with COVID-19. People still have coughs, people still have respiratory issues, people still have side effects from the vaccines, people still have, different strains of COVID-19 going on. So I think that in that, preventive medicine is very important. And I think that when you have great legends like Dr. Pranav Dasgupta, Dr. Paes, Dr. Siddiq here, who's done some wonderful work at the University of Havana, Cuba, it's legends like this who we should avail their expertise, we should avail their hard work. The years and years of not just theoretical study they've done in medicine, but their years of practical medicine that they've done, the number of patients they've dealt with, the number of cases they've seen. That is the magic, I think, of our Indian doctors, is that the sheer population that we live in, our doctors get to see 100x cases than doctors around the world because of the sheer population. So I think for me it's a great privilege here to be inaugurating the Ben Nevis Family Clinic and medical health checkups. And when you look at the advanced medical treatments that they have, so many. I myself was born with a mitral valve prolapse, so my cardiovascular checkups, my ECGs, my stress tests on a treadmill is something I do twice a year.